welcome back to the number one nerd-ish news store show. Source. Sheesh. Yeah, number one on Pornhub. The Creatia Conversation. I am your host, Lord Cussalot Travis Pointer, aka the Dragon King, aka Big T, aka T Money, aka Sweet T, aka Black Merlin, aka the HNIC. And I'm joined today by my co-host, the Warden, Matt Ritter. How you doing, Matt?
I'm good. How are you?
I mean, I thought I was okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know what that was about.
Until just now. I have no idea what just happened there, but it happened, and there's nothing I can do about it now. So that's what we living with. That's life. That's what it is. That's how I go.
I just noticed because before we got started, I was hanging a couple more pictures on my wall because I found a couple more hooks.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a picture of me, John, and Kevin Nash from that movie that we did together.
The vampire thing?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Where me and Kevin Nash are in vampire makeup and John is just there, but the three of us took a picture together, and then I had Kevin sign it at a Comic-Con that I went to. And it's too high, and it's throwing off like the whole wall, and it's bugging the shit out of me. So now I have to move that down like half an inch because I just noticed the gap between that and the picture above it is way too close, and it's driving me insane.
I don't know what to tell you, dude. I can't help you with that part. That's all on you.
I also think if I ever figure out how to get the TikTok from Mara, maybe I'll go on It's Creation World on TikTok and give everyone a preview, like a full up close preview of my office now that it's pretty much set up.
I'd be down for that.
So do a little tour of Matt's podcasting room.
Yeah. So other than that, what else you been up to besides your, redecorating or decorating, I guess?
Working on the old house so we can get that up to sell. Hogwarts Legacy. Last night I got to so I went to like the map room where I did the first trial.
Okay.
But I mean that doesn't tell you how far I am on side quests because like I'm 16 hours into the game, and one thing is pissing me off. When the fuck do I learn Alohomora?
You got to keep doing main quests to get it.
Motherfucker, because he finally said something. He's like, oh, yeah, I can teach you in your room. So, like, I completed the trial. And I'm like, let me go to his room so he'll teach me. And then he wouldn't teach me. And I'm like, you cocksucker.
I'll tell you now, he's actually not the one who teaches you.
Fuck. Great.
Yeah, I'm further than you are. I haven't had a chance to play since last week. But I just did Beast class. So
I have the access to that. I can do Beast class.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I've been doing so many side quests. Like I'm level 22 or some shit like that. And I've only done my first trial.
Oh, and wow. I'm like level like 17, I think. So
yeah, no, I've been doing dumb shit. I've just been exploring and unlocking pages and shit.
Yeah, I hear you. I think with me, like I said, I just got the beast class, which means I'm pretty sure I'm getting close to having a thing where I can have my area with all my beasts in it that I capture or whatever and bring them in there and all that kind of stuff. And
it's
I fear the day that
requirement from what I hear.
Well, yeah, it's in the room requirement. Okay, well, I have the room requirement, but I don't have the area where the beasts are and stuff. So if I fear the day or the time or the moment when I get to that point because I know I'm going to spend a unreasonable amount of time in that room.
Well, from what I understand, it's like running your own magical farm.
Yeah, I'll be there all day.
Yeah. So, but I also
you've been playing for 6 hours. You've only been in. Yep.
My goal is to get through Beast class and a couple other classes I think I've got tonight. I've learned a shit ton of spells. I've beat up some poachers. Just done a bunch of stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to find shit and unlock shit. I started doing like, have you got the quest for the keys? Where you gotta chase the flying keys around and smack them on the cabinet.
Back into the
yeah. So I got about 5 of 16 of those. One of the guys that I work with was telling me he's playing. Let me ask you something, Travis. What difficulty are you playing this game on?
Normal. Just
okay. Would you ever start playing a game that you have never played before on hard right off the bat?
No, I'm a grown ass man. I got other things to do in my life than like, make sure I'm good at a video game. I don't have time for that. Like it's just if I had the time to get good at it, then yeah, I would. Like that's the kind of shit that Kobe would do. I don't do that.
When
But
this dude told me, he's
actually,
like,
no,
"Oh, yeah."
Kobe don't even do that shit. So no.
He's like, "Yeah, I was having trouble with the dueling club. Like, I was getting my ass kicked." I'm like, "How are you getting your ass
I was
kicked?"
about to say how.
He goes,
played it on hard.
"Yeah." Then he's like, "Well, aren't you playing it on hard?" I'm like, "Why the fuck would I play it on hard? I have no idea what the controls are. I've never played." He goes, "Well, I wanted a challenge." I'm like, "Congratulations. The challenge was learning how to play the game. If I like it enough, I might go back through and play it on hard if there's shit I want to unlock or something." But
Yeah.
I
yeah.
never start a game.
I
don't care how many times I play it.
Yeah, I start the game on whatever difficulty is defaulted at because in my head, that's the way the game was meant to be experienced. So I start there. And the thing is, there are times I might drop that difficulty because I'm like, whatever, put that down to easy. Thank you, because I'm not going to bang my head up against the wall in this game forever. Like I'm not doing it. I don't have the time or the energy to do that anymore.
I was gonna say it's kind of like Final Fantasy VII. I think I'm playing on easy because they said that the normal mode or the harder modes focus on the combat and the easy mode focuses on the story. And I was more interested in the story. Like, yeah, okay, it's cool to go in and hack and slash, but it's the same shit over and over and over again. I'm here to play through the story and get the story elements and all that. So yeah, I play that on easy. I'm not playing that on hard. Now, again, if there's something I need to go back and get on hard for like a weapon or something, because like the only time I ever played Dynasty Warriors on hard was when they had the legendary weapons and you could only get by beating something on a hard level.
But also at that point we had like built up the characters we were using anyway, so it was just like playing it on hard was the equivalent of playing it on easy when we first started. Anyway. Yeah, it just took longer to kill things. Like that's really all it was because they had more life. Huh?
Lu Bu was a prick.
Oh, he. There's no was. He still is. Like, there is no point in time where Lu Bu is not a prick. Like even in Warriors of Orochi, Lu Bu is a prick.
Yeah.
But yeah. What else you been up to? You been watching anything new? Anything?
I told Vince yesterday I'd all caught up on Young Rock.
Okay.
I want to get your reaction on this since you weren't here and we did it yesterday. I probably should just save it for today. I watched that fucking I Am Jesus game trailer. I watched that yesterday on the stream.
Yeah.
Not what I thought it was going to be. I didn't think it was going to be like actual be Jesus from the Bible. I thought it was going to be something fun and funny and stupid.
That's what I thought too. But then no, it's just straight up be Jesus.
Any PTSD from like, those old fucking Bible films they used to make us watch or Veggie Tales interpretations and shit?
I wouldn't call it PTSD. But yeah, I remember those days at all the Bible things that they made us watch because we couldn't watch the real good fun movies. So it had to be that or VeggieTales or, when we got to a point where we had Mr. Thompson, he'd throw on Bill Nye the Science Guy. But yeah, I mean, I still enjoy VeggieTales, so I ain't going to say shit there. But, outside of that.
This gave me a great idea for a game, though.
What game was that?
So, like, I was watching this, and I'm like, this is kind of first person. Like, it's first person I Am Jesus, which I also feel is sacrilege. But, neither here nor there.
A little bit.
And then I was like, would this, I mean, you got glowing hands and stuff. Would this be considered a first person shooter? And then my thought went to masturbation and making a real first person shooter.
So in the face every time. I do wonder like how much freedom you get in there though. Like the whole, turn the water into wine thing. Like, are you allowed to just do that anytime you see water? Like, and what's the limit on that? Like that whole thing when you're out on the boat and the whole Peter having to walk out in the water kind of thing. Can I turn that whole river into wine? Like how much freedom are you giving me here? Or are we sticking
I'm more curious about the like crucifixion mini game. Like when you're carrying the cross, you got to like hit buttons to, otherwise you fall or you like stop. It takes
tap
forever.
X real fast so you can hold on to it so you don't fall and drop it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like how long are you like, allowed to try to stay up and like push yourself up on the nail when you're on the cross to keep yourself from suffocating,
Is it
Like
is the controller going to vibrate when they hammer the spikes into our feet and hands?
all good questions. All very good questions. They had like other like Bible games and stuff that came out like on the original Nintendo way back in the day.
I did not know that.
So here's the thing. Back in the day, Nintendo had this thing where you had to buy the cartridges from them and then, make the game and get it approved by them first before it came out. Thing is, they had basically reverse engineered the Nintendo because their game probably wouldn't have gotten approved because all they did was like reskin other games with Bible stuff. Like they took Doom and reskinned it like Moses collecting animals kind of thing. So like I never played this myself, but I saw it later on. Like somebody told me, I'm like, that's not real. And I looked it up, I'm like, oh my God, that's real.
See, I know it's not like I know Moses collecting animals isn't an actual thing. It's just something you said. But
I meant Noah, but
I was going to say my first thought was, shouldn't Noah have been collecting animals?
Yeah, I said the wrong name.
Oh, your grade school teachers would be so disappointed, Travis, that you mixed up Noah and Moses. One part of the Red Sea.
If they're not disappointed already by now, hey.
Could you imagine if any of our grade school teachers stumbled upon what the fuck we do here and where we put this?
Are you friends with any of them on Facebook?
No, I'm not.
Oh, I am.
Actually, I was Mrs. Banish. I was friends with Mrs. Banish.
I'm sure most of them have unfriended me by now, but like, I think I was friends with Mrs. Kramer, our art teacher,
Yep.
My third grade teacher, Ms. Van Kyken. I think I had Miss Banished. I think I had Miss Banished. Yeah, you did. We weren't in the same class until the fourth grade.
I know.
Who else? I had a few of them. Mrs. Kramer from sixth grade. Because I remember posting something. It was one of those like old places that had a little white place with like little flowers and stuff printed on it, but they had like redone it to make it all of them look like dicks instead. And I remember her commenting on the thing, "Oh, grow up." And I'm like,
oh, that's great.
Oh man, but yeah. So I'm sure. I don't know, Will. What did you walk out? I don't know when you got here. So,
well, I was going to say last thing on this, and then we can move on to what you were saying. So, one, also, if this is released on PC, the mods are going to be crazy. But I guess technically on Nintendo, it was kind of an early version of a mod if they were reskinning it, right?
Yeah.
They took old games and reskinned them with Bible stuff, and we have, to help you with the transition, a bunch of Nintendo news today.
We do. So we can go ahead and get into that first Nintendo story here. So the CMA has confirmed that Nintendo Switch Online will be available on another device. Kinda. It's a bit of a misleading headline. So this comes from The Gamer. So given article reads as thus: given how early into the current generation of gaming the Nintendo Switch launched, it often feels more behind the other consoles than usual. Due to this, it's often assumed that Nintendo will drop it long before Sony and Microsoft move away from the PS5 and Xbox Series S, respectively. Perhaps even within the next couple years. And now the UK's competitions and market authority might have just spilled the beans. They put spilt the beans. You ever use the word spilt? Do you say spilled?
I say spilled.
Yeah.
ED.
Yeah. It's odd. But anyway, as part of its investigation into Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which we'll get into more later on, the CMA is looking at the industry as a whole. In doing this, it has covered Nintendo's share of the gaming market, briefly going over its Nintendo Switch Online offerings. Here it says that NSO, that's Nintendo Switch Online, cloud gaming is only available on Nintendo Switch device and redacted. This suggests that the CMA has been made aware of another device that will support Nintendo's cloud gaming, with the studio not ready to unveil this just yet. So, you've got a Switch, right?
I do. I play my Switch more than I play anything else.
Right.
Here's why I love the Switch. Because I can take it anywhere. And I understand like there are now options where I can turn my phone and do my PS5 and play games on the go on my phone. But what I love about the Switch is I can go places and I can put a movie or something on my phone or on a tablet and play the Switch. I can sit in my living room and watch TV and play the Switch and still, take notes on what I'm watching or text message or do whatever. Like it's its own separate thing, and I can carry it with me. I play it more off of the base than I play it on the base, which is why I don't understand why this is saying, "Oh, it's behind the times." It's like I love the graphics of the Xbox Series X and the PS5, and I love the games, and I love sitting down and putting a controller in my hand. But the Switch is probably my favorite console right now.
When they say behind the times, they mean like just in terms of raw power. Like the Switch can't run God of War Ragnarok.
But it always has been. Nintendo's never been that for handheld. I understand it's a handheld and a console.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the fact that it's also a console that you can actually mount and play on your television kind of puts it in a different atmosphere than just like a Game Boy Advance or a 3DS or something like that. So that's
still how I use it though. So
I know that's how most people use it. But there's people who like to complain about it. It's just like, no, listen, I couldn't play the same things on my Game Boy that I could play on my PlayStation 2. Like that's not how this shit works. And essentially it's a handheld console. Like they even have the handheld only version of it now. Like
which I also have. I actually have two Switches. I have the Switch Lite and a regular Switch. And a shit ton of controllers because Drift's a motherfucker. Work on that. Better controllers.
Yeah. Like there's a whole base and everything to mount the thing on, but the whole thing is in here. So it's just it is what it is. And they're talking about putting it on something else, though. I mean, my guess would probably be PC. But if this whole deal with Xbox is a thing that we're talking about before, there may be a whole, cross-pollination thing happening there. We'll see. I doubt it, but my guess would be PC.
I can play Pokemon on my Xbox.
Remember back in the day where you could like do anything from PC and like burn games and shit and play it on Xbox?
No, I don't remember that. I never got into that.
I didn't have an Xbox. I've never owned an Xbox console, but I knew people who did, and I've seen them like put in games into their Xbox that were just on like a burned CD disc. Like it's just like,
That's probably why they got, because like you used to be able to put in like a burned disc and like download the music off the burned disc and like make a playlist or you use it listen to that while you're playing and your games and shit.
That's probably use it as my interest music on the PS3 on wrestling games. It was a great time.
Yeah,
that's how one of my creative wrestlers had "Here Comes the Boom" as their interest music.
While we're on Nintendo, because I saw you had it in there, I am so excited for fucking Monday. Speaking of using the Switch, because the thing that I use the Switch for more than anything else, like I've got Final Fantasy X on there, I've got Mario Kart, Mario Party, and all sorts of shit. But the thing that I use it for on almost a daily basis is fucking Pokemon. It is probably my favorite franchise of all time, and I saw a whole thing that said that says a lot about me, how I like to watch the same movies for comfort and listen to the same music over and over again. I'm like, fuck you. Yes, I like repetition. Go suck a dick. Why you got to call me out like that? Neither here nor there. Nintendo Day is fucking Monday, Travis, and we are going to probably get some information on DLC for Scarlet and Violet, which I'm excited for.
You mean Pokemon Day?
Yes, Pokemon Day. What did I say? Switch Day?
You said Nintendo Day.
Yeah, Pokemon Day. So we're probably going to get some news for DLC on Scarlet and Violet, maybe some information on other games that they have upcoming or projects for, later this year or next year, because they do like to drop a little something in November or just before Christmas every year.
Mm-hmm.
So
here's the thing. Monday is when this thing is, the Pokemon Presents event.
Mm-hmm.
9:00 my time, 8:00 your time, which means it'll be over before we do this show.
Exactly.
I'll make sure I'm on the show on Monday, and me and you'll talk about it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So we'll have that and The Last of Us to talk about on next Monday's show.
And I am so fucking stoked because I need my DLC for Scarlet and Violet, because right now I'm just hatching shiny Pokemon and running around trying to do shit.
Mewtwo?
In Scarlet and Violet, Mewtwo's not one of the available Pokemon yet, but it might come with the DLC.
Why not?
Dude, I have so many Mewtwo's. I've got shiny Mewtwo's. I got Mewtwo's out the ass. I'm good on Mewtwo. I actually just watched Mewtwo Strikes Back with Zoe the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she wanted to watch Pokemon. I've taught her two things. One, I've got a video of her singing Latino Heat, which is fucking adorable. And yesterday,
I need to see that.
I had President's Day off. We were sitting there, and I'm like, what do you want to watch? And she goes, Tino Heat. So I put on wrestling. I put on, I think it was WrestleMania 18, which I don't even think Eddie was on. But
about to say, you got to pick one with Eddie on it. Like,
yeah, so. But we watched that, and then she'll also say, oh, Pokemon, Pikachu. So I put on Mewtwo Strikes Back, and we watched that for a little bit until she got bored.
Still the best Pokemon movie.
And so you didn't like Legends Arceus because you said you didn't get that feel of like training your story. It didn't feel like a pet, right, Travis?
Yeah, it didn't feel like my homie. Like, you just like, I get my first Pokemon, this is my little homie for the whole time. Even when he gets like huge as fuck, he's still my little homie.
You didn't have that connection. Like, let's say with your dog, where you know you get them from little, you raise them, you build a bond. Maybe there's an online retailer that you want to go to.
Yeah, you would. You want to go to, you would want to go to dog.com because, you know, dog.com is your online dog supplies, shopping, and information destination. Everything your dog needs, from toys to treats and food, is available, including collars and leashes. They even have outdoor gear and water safety gear for your furry friend. So, need you to go to dog.creatiaworld.com to receive up to 64% off your order today. That is dog.creatiaworld.com and receive up to 64% off your order today.
Yep.
I actually was planning on using that for another segue from later on, but that's fine. Shit. No, it's cool. It's cool. It works just fine too.
Every time they say water safety gear for your furry friend, my mind goes right into the gutter. Every time I hear your furry friend, I think not animals.
See, you need to get sponsored by Manscaped. So we need to you need to be not so furry down there, man.
I was gonna say it's weird because I'm not a fan of, you know, all of that. Like, anyway.
No, we can talk about it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of too much body hair on myself or others either. So it's just like, you know, that on out of there. Tell people all the time, like, yeah, I don't like hair in my food, so get rid of that, you know.
Which is weird because, like, we grew up in a time where, like, bush was a big deal. Like, everywhere we went, it was just bush.
Yeah.
We also grew up in a time where that went away, and you just saw it slowly, like
the transition. We're here for the transition,
just
and then start to
hedge clippers,
and then it starts to transition back to now, just like, okay, yeah, we can have a little bit there. I'm just saying, just don't have it too much and in my way.
Yeah. From bush to landing strips to, you know, flat bare playing fields to, you know, back a little bit.
Yeah,
now,
you just want like
two little designs and shit.
Yeah. But yeah, what else we got here today, sir? We haven't talked about The Last of Us yet.
We have not.
There's more Nintendo news. We can get into that in a bit. Let's talk about The Last of Us.
Okay.
So this episode was called Ken. What'd you think of this episode, sir?
I think Joel's getting annoying as fuck.
Oh, really? How was Joel annoying you this time?
Just the whole go with my brother Tommy because I can't take care of you, blah, 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 then sticks around anyway. Like, I knew he was going to be there, so, like, that whole thing felt like a waste of time because it's like, this is not the Tommy Ellie story. Like, this is the Joel Ellie story. So I know you're going to go with her, so why are we wasting time pretending like you're so beat up and terrible and bad that you can't take this poor little girl the rest of the way? And also, just like I get it, but not being happy for your brother marrying the chick from True Blood and, like, finding a community.
Well, here's the thing. This is how I see it. Not saying he's right, but this is how I see it. I think this is how he sees it. So, starting with the whole go with my brother, not me thing. He has seen himself, in essence, fail multiple times trying to take care of Ellie. So, like, he even mentioned it, like the time when they were in the fight with the folks in Kansas City, and, like, he was going to die if she hadn't shot him. Like, I'm supposed to be taking care of you, but I needed you in that moment. Or, like, the time he was supposed to be watching it when they were sleeping upstairs, and he rolled over, and so he didn't hear shit, and they almost got themselves killed if it was anybody but Henry and Sam they'd have both died. And then there was like, multiple other times where he's like, I not being what I used to be and what I should be capable of doing almost got this kid killed, just like this other daughter of mine that I had before got killed because I was not able to protect her. Now, this whole thing, honestly, there wasn't shit he could have done about any of this. But he doesn't see it that way. The way he sees it is, this was my fault, and I can't let this happen anymore.
Now, and I understand that, but also we know that you're going to go with her. We know that you're going to the plays. I feel bad for what happened to you when you found, out that nobody was there, and fucking great cliffhanger ending for the fucking episode. Good job. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And then there was like, okay, yeah, Amani brought this up too. Not as much the test thing, but him saying he froze when the dog came and they were like sniffing him with the dogs and all that kind of stuff. Like, what the fuck did you think you were going to do? Like, you couldn't have, like, yeah, I'm supposed to. Well, you think, here's the thing, Matt. I'm going to ask you this as a parent, because this is kind of what this relationship is now, whether he wants to admit it or not. Ellie's his kid now. But let's say you and Doc are somewhere, right?
Okay.
And you are surrounded by people with guns. And there's a situation that could happen where if something that's not really in your control, let's just say a dog, is going to sniff your daughter, and there's a good chance because of what she is that this dog is going to kill your daughter. You want to stop that dog, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're surrounded by guns, and you'll probably die trying to stop that thing from getting to your daughter.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, is it's not fair because I'm sitting here from a rational standpoint, being able to think about it. And I mean, regardless of what I do, if I try and stop the dog, I'm going to get shot and she's going to die anyway.
Dead. Yeah, you're both dead no matter what in that situation. But in your head, you're not thinking logically.
And you could go the Henry route and say, all right, if the dog does attack her or whatever, then I can while out and they can shoot me, and then we're both gone anyway. But really, the best situation is just stay calm and fucking handle the situation the way he handled it. What were you going? He's like, I couldn't think of anything to say to get myself. What were you going to say to get out of the situation other than I'm Tommy's brother, which might have saved you a little bit earlier, but you didn't know his new fiance / baby's mama was, one of the horse riders.
Yeah.
Or who these.
No way of knowing that at all. And the thing is, luckily,
Cowboys were.
Luckily, the dog sniff thing isn't an actual blood test, so it's okay. Like, but you can see like the dog kind of hesitated at first too, because like the dog was like it smelled something, but like I guess it ain't all the way it though. We all right, and the dog was like, "Yeah, pet me now."
Yeah. Was that where you're going to use the transition because there was a dog in this show?
No, actually, but it would have been another good spot.
Because I've been begging for a dog in the show since we started doing these recaps.
Yeah, you have, but you've gotten one now. You didn't get as much dog as you probably wanted, but there was a dog.
No, they should have sent the dog with Ellie and anyway.
Dog could have ran off to get help when Joel collapsed and shit.
Dog could have ran off to get help when Joel collapsed. Dog could have attacked that dude so Joel didn't get stabbed in the stomach with a broken baseball bat.
Yeah. How'd you feel seeing that old couple out just minding their own damn business in their log cabin?
It was funny as fuck. I had no idea where the fuck they were, but I enjoyed the shit out of them because they didn't give two shits.
They're over it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what's so good about it, they were over it before the infection happened. They had already left. They were just like, yeah, we already out here, and we're minding our business. Like, oh, the world fell apart. Well, we were good already anyway. Who gives a shit? That could be it too.
I did not get, but possibly.
It's possible because she did give her the Diva Cup. So
okay.
So it's just like it's one of those things. It could be that she smelled I thought the dog smelled the menstrual cycle, but it also could be just like practically women need these things. And honestly, when you watch these post-apocalyptic shows and movies and stuff, they never really talk about that because that's a thing that happens. How do you deal with that?
Yeah. Um, you made him soup. That was great. When he's questioning his wife after he comes in and sees like she fed them and shit. Like, what's going on here?
I mean, they haven't hurt me. He's like, I
Yeah.
see that. They're just like that old married couple that's just like they're over it. It is so good.
Uh, I enjoyed it. Just like I said, a little bit annoyed with Joel, and I get it. You know, everything seems to go wrong. Everyone you care about dies, blah blah blah. But like, where's the I want to make things right? I want to do something right attitude. Like, where's that at?
It's right there. That's why he's still with her.
Well, eventually, as he was about to steal a horse and leave, which again, you could have just asked your brother for a horse. Why are you robbing these people?
That was good. Like, did you lie to them? No. Are you lying to me? No. Like, pointing at the map, that was good. But yeah, the whole. But we also know Joel doesn't do things the right way. He's always looking to try to, like, I guess you say, get over on people, but not even really that. It's just he expects things to be hard for him, so he does it in the way that makes it hard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also on the horseback ride, when he was explaining to her what a contractor was, and for whatever reason, I was thinking contract killer, like post-apocalypse, and then I remembered, oh no, like he was an actual
He was in
contractor.
construction, yeah.
It felt like that scene with like Mary Poppins from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Is Mary Poppins cool?
Y'all. Yeah, like yeah,
The coolest.
Poppins, y'all.
Yeah.
Even though they like yeah, nobody likes contractors. What else? I wanted more monkeys. I didn't get enough monkeys in this one. It was just like we saw them a little bit. I'm like, we need more interaction with the monkeys. They needed to steal something from you or something.
We grew up in a time where monkeys were like the cause of spreading diseases like this and shit. So I was very worried about like mutant fungus monkeys or something. You know, like we had Outbreak and you know that whole thing in the 80s that happened and all that monkey related nonsense growing up where like they test on these monkeys and then they carry these diseases and they spread these diseases and now you've just got a bunch of test subject monkeys running feral around the fucking campus. I expected a monkey to bite someone or something to happen.
Yeah, I expected something with the monkeys, but no, they were just there. Trying to think, there was something else with this episode that I wanted to make sure we touched on.
Ourselves?
Maybe a little later. But speaking of that kind of touching, though, you know, one of Tommy's little setbacks as to why he didn't want to go on the trip and all that with Joel or for Joel was because Maria, his wife, is pregnant. And, you know, when they were making that baby, do you think they had any help, any, you know, marital aids, any, you know, things to spice stuff up? Or do you think just the idea of being able to get it on right now was exciting enough?
I doubt that they had any marital aids, and if they did, they weren't like fun marital aids like you can get at mysensualsecrets.com. They were like, you know, it was like a fucking dildo that they whittled out of a fucking tree stick or something. Like nothing fancy and fun like you can get
At mycentralsecrets.com? Yeah, because, you know, mycentralsecrets.com boasts one of the largest catalogs on the web across all the varying levels of adult toy categories, with toys for him, for her, and for both. The product line is extensive compared to other competitors in the sexual wellness industry. Orders ship within 24 hours, so customers are always satisfied with both the price and quality. MyCentralSecret.com has top-rated reviews and exceptional customer service. So go to sensual.creationworld.com to receive 10% off your order today. That's sensual.creationworld.com for 10% off today.
Listen, you got to do what you got to do in the post-apocalypse. Like, you know how long it took them to convert that dam into like energy to make electricity? They couldn't charge their sex toys and things like that. You're not going to carry those around. And I doubt on your, I mean, maybe for some people and probably for me, but on your post-apocalyptic packing guide, sex toys are not like high on the survival priority list of things you need to carry around. A lot of that stuff gets left around. I am curious. I would just love, because it's on HBO Max, if there was a point in time where like they go through and because you never see this in like Walking Dead or anything where like they're raiding all these places that existed, but nobody ever like goes and checks out to see like what's left over in a sex store, or they never find like a box full of dildos in an Amazon warehouse. Like all of that's, where is all of that stuff in the post-apocalypse?
It is that it's out there because we know when the pandemic first started, one of the highest selling items on Amazon was sex toys. Like somebody that was working at Amazon was on video complaining and shit like, y'all are not even getting important stuff right now. You got us working this hard in these warehouses, blah blah. You getting dildos? Like, hey man, people need to bust nuts when they're stuck in the house all day. Like,
you literally have nothing else to do but fuck all day when you're trapped in the house and can't go out. Like
two things that sales went way up on: alcohol, sex toys.
And those two things go very well together.
They do. Oh man, yes, a sex toy emporium that gets raided. I'd be down for that.
Also, why are we not using sex toys as weapons? Because I feel like we could like fight off infected with sex toys. There are plenty of sex toys out there that can be used, especially if you get into like BDSM and shit. There are all sorts of whips and paddles and studded things.
I remember seeing something when I lived in Tallahassee in this one store. It was called The Big One. And it was a huge, no, it wasn't called, it was called the Great American Challenge is what it was called. This thing was fucking huge. It was like this wide or some shit and like this tall. And I'm just like, who is sitting on that thing?
I don't know, but I feel like that's a kind of competition I'd like to watch on Pornhub.
Would you?
I mean, out of like, like,
because it's not sexy. It's more just like, I want to see if you're able to do this.
Correct.
You're right.
Like,
you're right. If it's more curiosity than like pure arousal and entertainment.
First off, when you say Great American Challenge, I automatically think of Lex Luger and his fucking tour bus. Neither here nor there. But
the Lex Express?
Yes. Traveling around America. The Star Spangled everything. But could you imagine that just like a reality TV show where women sign up to see if they can take it?
Dildo Wars brought you live.
This is what I'm saying, Travis.
Oh man, I'd be down for it. I would. That should be an Olympic event.
It should be.
Should talk to Pornhub about that. Like, all right, bring in bigger and bigger dildos. Like, who can sit on it down to the hilt? You gotta take the whole thing.
The Sex Worker Olympics.
Yeah, that's what they get that one, and then we get like dudes that like how long can you keep a steady pace of fucking without busting a nut,
or how fast? You gotta you gotta have speed nutting. Like
you gotta go from completely flaccid though.
Exactly, you gotta get it up, get it hard, and shoot.
Basically, you start off like in like cold water, and then go. Oh man, we may have come up with something there. We need to write that down.
We do. That's at least something you and John could make a skit out of.
Yeah. I'll hold on. Let me just go ahead and I'm just gonna text. I'm just gonna text John and say "Sex Worker Olympics" and give it no context.
Pole vaulting dildo, but with suction cups.
Yep, that's all I'm saying to him. Sex Worker Olympics and zero context. He'll probably eventually see it and be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Or he's just gonna laugh.
Both things are possible.
Also, I love that Amani is again so much on the same similar wavelength as me. Now she's coming up with all the great ideas that I've been giving you for years in the chat along with me.
Oh man, so like. Or you can use the suction cup dildos for like wall climbing.
Yes, you could.
Use, hands, feet, and mouth, I'm not sure why you would need to use your mouth.
Is this like that Mr. Garrison cycle thing from South Park?
What was it called? It was just called It.
Yeah.
Where for some reason it goes into your ass and mouth, and then there's two things on the side that you got.
Yeah, you control it with your tongue. That's like the gyroscope thing.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of controllers, was that a transition back to Nintendo or?
It was supposed to be, but then I saw this from Will and it kind of threw me off. I wasn't ready for that. So we got a little bit more Nintendo stuff here. So Nintendo and Xbox have signed a 10-year deal for Call of Duty. Um, Basically to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo consoles for 10 years. Until now, Call of Duty has not been on Nintendo consoles. They just didn't do it. Mostly because they couldn't keep up. But also that's just not Nintendo's brand. Like if you're somebody that plays Call of Duty, you're not playing it on a Nintendo console. That's just not
No.
It's not what it's for. But anyway, this article comes to us from comicbook.com. So Microsoft, the owners of Xbox, has announced it has signed a 10-year contract with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty games to Nintendo platforms. This deal was first announced in December, but now there's an actual binding contract in place. According to Microsoft Vice Chair and President Brad Smith, this 10-year commitment is to bring the first-person shooter series to Nintendo platforms the same day as Xbox, with full feature and content parity. When this deal will begin is not specified, but it can't be until the Activision Blizzard acquisition is complete, which is currently looking a bit iffy. So Microsoft and Nintendo have now, it's a quote from Brad Smith. Microsoft and Nintendo have now negotiated and signed a binding 10-year legal agreement to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo players the same day as Xbox, with full feature and content parity, so they can experience Call of Duty just as Xbox and PlayStation gamers enjoy Call of Duty. We're committed to providing long-term equal access to Call of Duty to other gaming platforms, bringing more choice to more players and more competition to the gaming market. We've now signed a binding 10-year contract to bring Xbox in, blah, 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 Wright Smith and blah, 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 blah. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, they say to enjoy Call of Duty like Xbox and PlayStation users, but as we talked about, as far as graphical capability and things like that, the Nintendo Switch is kind of far behind those guys. And from what I understand, because I'm not a Call of Duty person, like I had my time with first-person shooters. It was Halo, it was Gears of War, things like that. Call of Duty never really was my thing. I don't like simulated actual wars or playing back through historical wars or shit like that. Like if I want to do that, I would have joined the military. It's not for me. I like fantasy. I want chainsaws and laser guns and
like Doom.
Shit. Yeah, exactly. So
or send me to space and shoot at aliens and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, or fucking locusts or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
like
where I like to do my shit. However, because I know like for the Xbox and Play, these are very large games. These are games that take up like the majority of your storage space as just the game itself. And you have to uninstall parts of the game to install new parts or whatever. So how the fuck are they getting this on a Switch?
It's a very good question. They are going to do it the same way that 2K put WWE games on Switch. Terribly. It's going to run like shit. That's what's going to happen. Like it's just that simple. They're going to put these on Nintendo platforms and they're going to run like shit.
But you'll have them.
Yeah, they'll be there. So this article goes on, and this is mostly what I want to talk about. Is that why is this deal happening now? Well, it's impossible to ignore that this is happening as the acquisition is being met with substantial scrutiny and pushback from regulators all over the world, especially in the United States and Europe, as PlayStation, Google's, and more push hard against the deal in an attempt to get it to collapse. As you may know, a similar deal has been offered to PlayStation, but so far it hasn't responded to the offer and likely won't as it attempts to thwart the deal it says is anti-consumer and anti-competitive. So the other, big competitor in the gaming space right now, we don't count Nintendo. They're their own thing. We don't really deal with them, but it's Microsoft, Sony, Xbox, PlayStation. PlayStation has been trying to block this Microsoft acquisition of Activision because, like it's anti-consumer. Basically because if they buy Activision, they get the biggest gaming property in the world being Call of Duty, And they're like, if they get this, they can make it exclusive to their own platform and blah, 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 blah. Now, here's my thing. We're at a point now where I'm just like, y'all, either shit or get off the pot. Like, either y'all gonna let them make this deal or you're not. Like, it's been going back and forth way too long now. And it's just, are you gonna let them do it or not? If you're not gonna let them do it, say you're not gonna let them do it. Say you can let them do it in certain pieces or something like that. But it's just, as far as PlayStation saying it's anti-consumer and all that kind of stuff, I can get why you say that because, you want Call of Duty on your shit because it makes a lot of money for you. I get that.
They do the same thing, though. They do the same thing with Square Enix. It's not. There are games, including Final Fantasy VII.
They had to make deals with Square to make that happen. That's different than outright owning the studio.
I agree, but you're still making deals. I had to get a PS5 so I could play the second part of the Final Fantasy VII remake whenever you release it. Because I can't get it on an Xbox.
You're right.
I can't get the first part of Final Fantasy VII on an Xbox. I can get other Final Fantasy games, but not that one.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right.
The big major shit, like I can get remastered Final Fantasy X and 7 or the original 7 and shit like that. But like this, which has been out forever, is a PS4, PS5 exclusive. I have to own it to play it. And I listened to Travis talk about it my entire fucking childhood about how amazing it was that I had to play it when it was actually up to my graphical qualities. I couldn't just let this slip by me. So I bought an entire console specifically basically for that.
Worth it though, right?
So far, yes. And I've always been the kind of person that I prefer single player games, the God of Wars, the Final Fantasies, things like that on a PlayStation. And I've always preferred online multiplayer gaming, first-person shooter stuff on an Xbox. I don't know why. I've played both. I've had both. I have never really enjoyed the online gaming experience on a PlayStation. That is more of a, unless you're sitting at home and you have someone to play with, but that's more, for me, it's more of a console that I enjoy playing alone. And the Xbox, for whatever reason, especially online shooter-wise, has always felt more friendly towards the online gaming aspect of it. Talking to people, doing things like that. Maybe it's just because I knew more people that had an Xbox that were playing those games. But again, Halo was an Xbox game, is an Xbox game. Gears of War, the stuff that I like that are first-person shooters, those are all Xbox exclusives too, and that might be why they're made for the Xbox.
So one of the things with this deal that Microsoft has been pushing back on, as far as them saying like it's anti-consumer, and all, like they'll try to be like, hey, well, PlayStation has all these exclusives over here, but they mention stuff like God of War and The Last of Us and all. And I'm like, that's not the same thing, because they owned these studios before they had those blockbuster hit games. They created those blockbuster hit games while they were already owned. They didn't make God of War and make The Last of Us, and then PlayStation came in and bought them. Like, that's a very different situation. However, I don't give a shit anyway. If you want to buy fucking Call it, if you want to buy Activision, let them buy Activision. I don't give a shit. Like, okay. But that's also me being somebody who doesn't really play Call of Duty anyway, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But exclusives on platforms is a way of life I've been used to all, I never got to play Gears of War because I never owned an Xbox. It was just kind of my thing. I accepted it.
Oh, you have a PC. You can play it on PC.
I can now.
Yeah.
I didn't have a PC capable of it before. But yeah.
I had Gears 3 and I had a 3D TV and it came in 3D and I got to play Gears of War 3 in 3D, which was fucking trippy as shit.
Gears of War 3D.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, when you're playing these, you can get into some long sessions, Matt.
Oh yeah, I was up all night.
And when you do, you're going to need some energy. And a good way to get that energy is with W. W is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like other energy drinks. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. W contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. The product is made in the USA in an FDA inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. W has handpicked what they believe to be the 10 most critical ingredients for focus and concentration. W contains important aminos and vitamins that canned energy drinks simply don't have. W also uses Neurofactor, a patented all natural coffee extract to help fuel you. This ingredient is what gives W its laser focus and fast reflex effects, making it especially perfect for gamers. They also disclose full ingredient amounts, and the product will never contain fillers or artificial colors or dyes. W is also sugar free, like I mentioned, maltodextrin free, and is keto friendly. So go to w.creatiaworld.com and use the code Creatia to receive 10% off your order today. That's w.creatiaworld.com and use the code Creatia to receive 10% off your order today.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, I got something else here for you, Matt.
What do you got for me, Travis?
Have you ever watched a comic book trailer before?
Yes.
So I've only really watched the trailer for an actual comic book.
Like not a comic book movie, like an actual comic.
No, actual comic book trailer.
Oh no, never, not once.
I know for a fact once when they did a trailer for the Power Rangers comic Shattered Grid, where it was like this alternate reality where like Tommy turned evil or something, and yeah, it was some shit.
Stayed evil?
No, he actually like turned good and then turned back evil, and he was like he had combined the power of the Green and the White Ranger, and he'd also like basically forced all the other Rangers into submission and shit. It was some crazy shit. I'm like, oh, this is dope.
Was it because Jason was fucking Kimberly and he found out?
Possibly. I don't think that's what it was, but we can go with that. But yeah, I've got another one here for you. It's for a comic book called Hairball.
I saw that in our notes, and I had no idea what the fuck Hairball was.
Me neither until I saw this, so we're going to look at it now. I haven't seen this trailer yet either, so let's see what we got.
I feel like that's a movie I would watch.
Yeah. So I've got this article here from IGN about this comic book here. This article was written by Jesse Sheeden. So we all know cats can be jerks, but what if your pet cat was literally trying to kill you? That's the premise behind Hairball, an inventive new horror series that's the latest addition to Dark Horse's Flux House imprint. Hairball is written by Flux House creator Matt Kent and drawn by Tyler Jenkins, with colors by Hillary Jenkins. IGN, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Hairball is a story influenced by acclaimed Japanese storytellers like Junji Ito and Hayao Miyazaki, and by Western novelists like Stephen King. The series follows a girl named Anna who starts to believe that her cat is actively causing all the pain and misery in her life. But when she decides to kill her cat, she begins to learn that it may be the only thing standing between her and an even greater evil. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said.
So, like, the cat's just murdering her family to protect her?
I don't know.
And what about the little devil thing that it spit up, the little devil hairball thing?
All very good questions that I guess
I
we have to
have
read the comic book to find out.
I have questions. Yeah, no, I'm interested.
So yeah. I saw the article, I read there. I'm like, oh, interesting. Let's watch that trailer on the show. So we watched the trailer on the show.
And I've never, I mean, what kind of bothers me is like, obviously it was moving and comic books don't move. So, like,
They do if you move them.
not like that, Travis.
So we got one more story here. So Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man return just got bad news from Marvel producer. This is bad news if you don't look at these things logically. Um, so this article comes from comicbook.com, written by Adam Bernhardt. Uh, Robert Downey Jr. may not be returning to the Marvel Cinematic Universe after all. With Avengers Secret War on the horizon, most fans were holding out hope for some of the franchise's first stars to return to the fold for one final go around. That was called Avengers Endgame, people. But okay. Some recent comments from Marvel Studios producer Steven Broussard, however, seem to throw cold water on that specific notion. Earlier this month, the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania producer specifically stated Downey was off the table. This is a quote from this. What the fuck is his name already? I fucking forgot the damn dude.
Broussard?
Broussard, yeah. I think one of the meta narratives for Phase 4 was about new characters. It was about new people stepping into the mantles. Broussard said in a chat with IO9. If you look at it, Cassie Lang in Quantumania getting the suit, and Kate Bishop in Hawkeye. New characters being introduced like Jack in Werewolf by Night. Did you watch Werewolf by Night?
I did.
Okay. After these first 10 years of Marvel storytelling, torches are being passed, like with Robert Downey Jr. no longer being on the table and stuff like that. So it was kind of a new generation stepping to the forefront, which again has always happened in the comics. So I don't know who's surprised by this or who thought Robert Downey Jr. was coming back after they literally like said, I'm Iron Man, killed him off, had a funeral for him and everything. But yeah, officially, the producer said, no, he's off the table. He's not coming back.
Okay. I mean, there's always a way, especially now that they've introduced the multiverse, to bring him in for a cameo spot or something like that.
Yeah, I guess.
Not as like a main character. Like you get another universe's Iron Man in here, whatever, blah, 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 just for like a feel good moment. Which if I ever saw, that's all I would expect. I wouldn't expect him to I wouldn't expect Iron Man 4 or though the song Iron Man by Black Sabbath, which is like about Iron Man coming back from the dead and being like an evil zombie and attacking the world that he once said, like that would be a fun story, but neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm saying, it's about a new generation stepping up into the mantle and all that. I mean, that's what I was looking at it being Sam Wilson is now Captain America. We got, Kate Bishop probably stepping into the Hawkeye role. We got Black Widow's sister, she's there now, even though she's probably going to be with the Thunderbolts, but still,
Ironheart.
All right, exactly, Ironheart. Like we get, we got new folks coming in. It's a new generation now. Like let's look at these other new stories that we have here that we haven't even begun to touch on yet. Especially like the MCU hasn't taken a crack at X-Men yet. They haven't taken a crack at the Fantastic Four yet, and all those great stories you can tell with them and everything. So it's just let's get some new stuff in here. We don't need to keep going back to that old shit. Like that stuff was good. It's still there. You can go back and watch it whenever you want to. But let's get something new.
Oh, these white cis males are losing their mind, Travis. Not only are they casting all these people of color to take over these traditionally white male spots in their MCU, but they also have vaginas too. Like,
how dare they? How dare they put someone with a vagina in the same role as one that was once held by a Caucasian with a penis?
And not even the same role. Like Ironheart isn't Iron Man, and that's who Ironheart. Like, I don't fucking understand people. Oh, there's so many women in the MCU. Okay. Do you not like women? Do you hate women?
I don't understand it either, bro.
Women can't be superheroes. Why the fuck not? There are women superheroes in the comics. What is the problem? They're everywhere.
That's just how they got all upset about Thor, and it was just like Thor is a male, blah blah blah. No, so you clearly just don't read the comics or know anything about the comics at all. Like
Lady Thor exists.
it's an actual thing in the comic books, or like the Hulk, and they're like, oh, now they're doing She-Hulk. The Hulk can't be a man anymore. I'm like, comic books, She-Hulk is there. Like,
And Hulk's still a man, and he was in the show.
about to
The
say,
show was fun as shit. I enjoyed the shit out of that show.
I did too. But yeah, these folks and their weirdness here. Speaking of actually these movies too, though, apparently right now Quantumania is tied with the Eternals for the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score in MCU movies.
Me and Vince talked about Quantumania yesterday. I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fine. I think there are MCU movies that are worse than that. Like Thor: Dark World exists. People like
I don't hate Thor: Dark World.
I don't hate it, but it's not as good as Quantumania is a better movie than that movie.
Yeah.
The Incredible Hulk isn't great. Like it's just yeah. I think I'm not saying I like this one more than Iron Man 3, or like I think they're pretty close to me.
Okay. I don't know if you know this about me, but I absolutely hate Iron Man 3, specifically for the fact that that blue song plays at the beginning of the movie. It is my least favorite Marvel movie of all time because I hate that fucking song with a passion, Travis.
What song?
That blue da boo dee ba doo da. It plays in the fucking New Year's party at the beginning of the, and I hate that song more than I hate anything. I hate the remix that they have out. I think Bebe Rexha remixed. They used it for the Royal Rumble. I fucking hate that song. And because of that, Iron Man 3 is my least favorite Marvel movie of all time.
Okay.
I would rather watch Daredevil with fucking Ben Affleck.
That's some deep hatred there.
Yeah, she knows. Hate it. I don't know why.
I don't know, man. Sometimes there's a song that just don't really sit right with you, and that's one of them for you. But all right, that's it for today, folks. Thank you all for watching with us. If you're watching live, if you're not watching live, remember you can watch us live. Just go to twitch.tv/Creatia World. You can, if you're there, throw us a subscription. You know, it costs a little money, but if you want to do it for free, you can. If you got Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming, and with that, you're able to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and then you can subscribe to one account per month for free. And that helps us out a whole lot. Like a lot. So do that. And honestly, if you don't give it to us, give it to somebody. Use that free sub. You know, we all love a sub. You can also watch us live on YouTube at youtube.com/Creatia World. All right. You can also watch us later on youtube.com/Creatia World. And subscribe to us there also. And also ring that notification bell. So be like, yo, when they coming on? And then it'll tell you when we coming on. We just be like, boom, we out here. Watch us right now. You can come watch us whenever we're on. Because we're cool. You like hanging out with us.
Ring my bell.
Ring my bell. Ring-a-ling-a-ling. Also, if you're watching later, you can watch us somewhere else that Matt really loves for you to watch us. You can go to pornhub.com/model/Creatia World. Our Pornhub numbers are not doing as well as they should be. So I need you all to go there and make Matt happy again because he has not been pleased with that.
Or you could just lie about what we're putting out there and get our numbers back up by getting us back in those groups that we were in.
I want them to look at it for what it is for some reason on Pornhub. I don't want to do it ourselves. I want them to accidentally find it the right way.
Or I'll just make you come back on every week and we can put BBC back in our tags and then
it does help. It's funny because that helps. Being able to put MILF in there helps. Interracial helps a lot of times too. It's kind of iffy it back and forth on interracial, but definitely MILF and BBC do it every time.
Essentially, seeing it, threesome should be able to be on there because it's me, Vince, and Katie, or me, Katie, and someone every week.
Interracial threesome does help,
and interracial threesome because Vince is Hispanic. So,
well, I know. I use all these tags. Also, if you want to throw us a little bit more support, you can go to Patreon at patreon.com/Creatia Award if you want to throw us a few bucks. You know, you get some extra stuff with that, though. You know, you get Return to Wrestling with myself and the warden Matt Ritter here. Blah, 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 blah. We're talking old WCW stuff. We go through all the nitros and the corresponding pay-per-views, and I just get to watch Matt suffer as Hulk Hogan is all over his TV over and over again, and his suffering gives me sustenance. There's also Multiverse with myself and Mara the Shark Watkins when we're looking at past comic book animated movies. You know, we talk Constantine, City of Demons last time. Next time we'll be doing Wonder Woman Bloodline, so that's coming up. I think with you on Return to Wrestling, we got Bash at the Beach next of 97.
Yeah, we got to get on that.
Yeah, we do. Also, if you just want all the links to everything that we do, you can go to Linktree. Linktree/Creatia World. We also have the best place to find out about everything we do and find out everything about us at creatiaworld.com. That's where you can find out like exactly who we are and what we do. You know, what is Matt's favorite ice cream? You know, you want to know that? What's Matt's archetype, you know, personality type? You know, what is that for him? We've talked about his Hogwarts house before, you know, fellow snake over there. Didn't even know he was until more recently, you know.
Should have.
Also, you can follow us on all the socials. Here you go to Instagram, TikTok, Twitter at It's Creatia World. That is at ITSCREATIA World. As always, I'm not telling you how to spell world. If you don't know how to spell world, get a goddamn dictionary, get your life together. Also on Facebook at facebook.com/Creatia World. Also, if you're a wrestling fan, we've talked about that before. Matt, where can they go if they're a wrestling fan?
Facebook.com/group/Smacking It Raw.
Go there, find that out. But also, Matt, just tell them about Smacking It Raw. What do y'all do over there? What do you got going on?
Smacking It Raw is a weekly wrestling recap show where me, Katie, and Vince talk Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW Dynamite, AEW Rampage, and occasionally have guests on who will talk other things like Impact or the NWA or whatever else they're watching. But we spit or swallow the week in wrestling, and we do it every Friday night, 11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Creatia World or youtube.com/Creatia World or facebook.com/Creatia World.
You got to get Katie on Creatia Conversation at some point.
I can find out what day she has off where she doesn't work in the mornings and work that out.
Yeah, we'll see. We can figure it out. But yeah, don't forget, though, you can find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Lord_Cussalott. That is at LORD_CUSSALOTT. Matt, where can they find you?
Twitter only at Matt Ritter. There's MATTRIDDER.
Dope. Once again, thank you all for watching. We'll see y'all again tomorrow. I believe it's me and Vince tomorrow.
Have fun.
Yeah, that's what I'll go with. I think it's me and Vince tomorrow. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Until then, we out.
Peace.